So I'll just start because we have to again revise the concept of yesterday's repeated measure ANOVA, because I told that if you can recall the pre-post test, that is the pair t-test, there also we discussed that it is the same set of individual who will be measured twice on the same continuous variable. So the study design would be a pre-post study, like you have done some intervention, you have measured a continuous variable before the intervention and after the intervention. Or even if you don't do any intervention, you just want to measure something at 2 point of time on the same set of individual, then also that test is applicable. The third variant is on the same set of individual if you want to have two conditions or two intervention, like we did for the medicated and non-medicated lotion on right and left arm. So that right and left arm is also a paired value of a single individual. So we will perform a paired t-test. Repeated measure ANOVA is very much similar to paired t-test. The only difference is that with paired t-test, we are doing the measurement at two different time points, whereas if it is 3 or more than 3, then we use repeated measure. So if we come to the study design, the first type of study design can be that if I want to test the difference between 3 or more time points, then after the exercise training program, first in the beginning, then in the midway, and third after the intervention, then I'll do this repeated measure ANOVA. Second study design could be if I want to know the difference between the outcome of the 3 different interventions, like one could be intervention 1, the second could be exercise training, the third could be a dietary control. Or in the third case, if I want to measure the difference of change score pre-post for at 3 different time point, then also I will use this pre-post. This is the repeated measure ANOVA. So command of repeated measure ANOVA, it is not through the comparison of mean, because till now we have used the analyze, and then in analyze compare means we have used the pair t-test, we have used the independent sample t-test, and then we have used the one-way ANOVA. But command of repeated measure ANOVA is through general linear model. So again, assumptions are same. You have to test for normality, you have to test for potential outlier, and then you perform this test. So coming to the this is the data set. So if you see this, I will do the normality testing. I have showed this to you yesterday. So analyze, descriptive, explore. You move all the 4 variables. The question was, I have to see I have administered some drug and I want to see whether the blood pressure has decreased, and I have measured 4 values of blood pressure on the same set of individual at 4 different point time, that is the at 15 minutes, at 30 minutes, at 45 minutes, and at 60 minutes. So I would do the same. I'll move these 4 variables into the dependent list. Initially both is checked, so I have unchecked this. I only want the normality, and then I will go to the plots. In plots, I will uncheck this stem and leaf, and I will check this normality plot. I'll press continue, press this OK, and then I'll wait for the output. So in the output, you can see there is a value of Shapiro-Wilk test. You can see from the Shapiro-Wilk test that none of the variable is normally distributed. Can you see? All the value of P is less than 0.05. So if we comment on normality after seeing this Shapiro-Wilk test, we will conclude that the data is not normally distributed. But the sample size is more, it is more than 50. So we will apply the QQ, visual inspection of QQ plot. If you see the visual inspection of QQ plot, you can see that the data is across the diagonal line. And then if you see the box plot for the outlier, you can see that there is a one outlier at 45 minutes. There are 4 outliers at 60 minutes. So total of 5 outlier. But I have reported these outliers and I have kept these outliers in my analysis. There is one outlier at 15 minutes also. So then I'll go to the analyze and I'll go to the general linear model, because till now you have used this comparison of mean. You have seen one sample t-test, you have seen independent sample t-test, you have seen paired sample t-test, and you have seen one-way ANOVA. In paired sample t-test, if you can recall, we test the normality of the difference between the pre-post. So in paired t, we create another variable for the difference between the post and pre. But for repeated measure ANOVA, we don't use this option of compare means. It is done through the general linear model. That is just below this compare mean option. Go to the repeated measure. Can you see this here? If you click this, something of this within subject factor appears. So within subject factor means it is an independent variable, because the time is a variable here. You are measuring the continuous variable across 4 different time points. So within subject factor means it is the independent variable and you are measuring this across 4 time points. That's why I have written here 4. I have pressed this enter. This, if I reset this, you can see I can write here as factor as time, and I can write here as levels, and I'll add this. The measure which I want to do, that is the systolic blood pressure. So I'll add this. So this you have to enter and add. And now I have to define. So it asks you to define. So it should be in sequence. Yesterday also we discussed that because it's a repeated measure, so you have to go in sequence about the measurement values. So I cannot do the like this. I cannot shift here at 4 number of place. No, it should be at the first place only. So for that, what I'll do, I'll again go, I'll press all these 4 and I'll move this here. So this is 1 means at 15 minutes, 2 means at 30, 3 means at 45, and 4 means at 60. And then I will press this option of this option. Once you press this option, it takes you to a window which tells you about the marginal means or about the factor interaction. So here it is the time. So I have to display means of the 4 time point. And then this post hoc, I have to click here. So post hoc, this post hoc is with the comparison between the different time points, like between the 15 and 30, 13 and 45, 45 and 60, and there will be so many pairs. So the post hoc for this various measurement across different time points, we apply Bonferroni. Bonferroni, most of you must have heard regarding this Bonferroni correction before, because we I think 5-10 years back, mostly we used to have this Bonferroni correction only. Then a lot of other corrections came, and then we have started using other post hoc analysis. So, but in this case, across the different time points, we use the Bonferroni correction, and then click the descriptive statistics, because I want the descriptive statistics for all my values at different time point, and then press this OK. And in any other thing, you don't have to press anything, only this option. So you press OK, and then you will have this output. So you can see here, there are 4 dependent, the dependent variable it takes at the systolic blood pressure measurement at 4 different time points. This is the mean of the systolic blood pressure at 15 minutes, at 30 minutes, at 45 minutes, and 60 minutes. This is the standard deviation. Then you don't have to see this multivariate test. You come down and now you see the Moschle's test of sphericity. So like we comment on the Levine test of equality of variance in independent sample, you have to comment on the Moschle's test of sphericity. Moschle's test of sphericity, it also assumes variances but that is the difference of each group. So just remember this, that it is a way to determine variance in case of a repeated measure, because in repeated measure it is the same individual which you are measuring at more than 2 time points. So it is not the two different population, because in independent sample t-test and in one-way ANOVA, what you did, you measured the variance of 2 or 3 different population, because you want to test that whether the 3 groups which you have taken or 2 groups which you have taken, they are from the same population or not. That's why that variance should be same in the population. But here in case of a repeated measure ANOVA, you are testing the difference of variance across one group only, and that's why it is known as the Moschle's test of sphericity. And this is also a way to check variance between the different time points. So that's why we use this Moschle's test of sphericity. And the same concept applies here also, that Moschle's test of sphericity, if the p-value is more than 0.005 or more than 0.05, then we say that this assumption has been met. So p-value is not desirable for us here also, because we want this Moschle's test of sphericity to this assumption to be met. But in this case, if you see this systolic blood pressure reading and the value of Moschle's test of sphericity, then you can see that this is not, this value is less than 0.05. So this assumption is not met. So if the assumption of sphericity, so you can see here, there are two, output, you can see it gives you the output against 2 degrees of freedom. There is one here and the other here. So the first thing, the sphericity assumed. So if the sphericity is assumed, then I'll take these 2 values for to report my interpretation. So you can see I'll take this sphericity assumed and this one. If my p-value in the Moschle's test of sphericity, had it been more than 0.05, then I would have taken these 2 values to report my result. But in this case, since this is not, this assumption is not met, so what will I do? So I will go with this greenhouse gazer. So remember that we take greenhouse gazer for this. So I will take this value, greenhouse gazer, this to report, and then I will take the lower one, this value to report. And then coming to the post hoc. So is it clear up till this point which value to take? Depending on the Moschle's test of sphericity, the value p-value of Moschle's test of sphericity. So we take 2 values. We take either, when sphericity is assumed, we take the upper row. When sphericity is not assumed, you can take the any one from the other 3 rows, like the greenhouse gazer, Hundfield, or a lower bound. But most commonly, what the statistician, the standard textbook says that you should take greenhouse gazer. So that's why we take greenhouse gazer. And then coming down to the, then come to this. Okay, this was the, yes, this is the pairwise comparison. Like you have done this pairwise comparison, not the pairwise, means the post hoc analysis in the one-way ANOVA. You did in the chi-square also, but that was a very less number of pairs. Here you can see there are many number of pairs. So what we have discussed yesterday, that you start taking for the, because there will be many values will be the same, because it takes the both I minus j, and then it does the reference value, it does both ways. So it's better that you start from the lower row, lowest row. In the lowest row, you should take all this. If you see outrightly, just without seeing anything, you can see that all the values are significant. So you can see that if you focus on this column, you can see that all the values, all the pairwise comparison is significant, right? And this is the confidence interval, and this is the difference between the systolic blood pressure at two different points. That means it is the 15 minutes difference between 15 and 30, 15 and 45, and 15 and 60. Similarly, it is the 30 and 15, 30 and 45, 30 and 60. So all this pairwise comparison is there. But if you don't want, like what I do, I go from the lower row because there I have this positive value. So I will take all these four values here in the lowermost row. So I'll take all these values 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3. Then I will take these two values, the upper two value of the second last row, and then for 2, 1, I will take, then I'll go 1 again above and I'll take this value. So remember, start from the lowest and then start decreasing one number of row just to make it more clear. Otherwise, even if you don't do like this, you can do like 1, 2, 1, 3 and 1, 4. So that way you can enter the result. So if I come to the result and interpretation, so this was the question. So I'll reduce this so that you can see it. Yes. So if I do it in single, so you go here and you can see that mean value. So that mean value, you can see that the systolic blood pressure at 15, 30, 45 and 60. And then with the standard deviation. So this standard deviation I have taken from this. And then you can see that the mean you can enter the mean values like 154, 148. So I have entered these values with the standard deviation and I have taken the p value and the degree of freedom. So you can see I have taken this value as my, because Moschle's test of sphericity was what it was not met. So I have taken this F311 and then the degree of freedom I have taken like 2. This you can say 2.8 and then 538.5. So these two degree of freedom, I have taken the degree of freedom of greenhouse gaser. I have not taken the degree of freedom of this sphericity assume and its p value. So now coming to the pairwise comparison, you can see here that I have entered these results like difference between 15, 30, then 15 and 45, and 15 and 60, then 30 and 45, 30 and 60, and 45 and 60. So there will be 6 pairs. I have written the mean difference of blood pressure and the 95% confidence interval. In the footnote, I have entered the Moschle's test of sphericity, and then there is a write-up. So did you understand up till this point regarding how do we enter the result? If yes, then I would ask one of you to, or do you want me to repeat something before we go for the interpretation? So Pawan is writing yes, Aliza is writing yes. So I'll take this as yes for all of you. Okay. And then we'll go to this interpretation. So this interpretation. So one of you kindly read this for us.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir. You're audible, sir. 1 minute, sir. Ma'am, sir is asking something.
Hello.
Sir, we will be back, sir. 1 minute, sir. 1 minute, sir. Some technical glitches. 1 minute, sir.
Okay.
Oh, just a sec. Yes, Dr. Praveen, do you want to ask something?
Good morning. I'm not I, ma'am. I think someone else was asking.
Okay, okay, please.
Dr. Ashish was there.
Ashish, yes, Ashish, what is the query?
Yes,
Sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. One query. I'm extremely sorry for being
Yes,
late.
no,
But later
please.
on, if you have time, can you repeat this, ma'am? Can you repeat this and whenever for you, ma'am?
Sorry, you are not very clearly audible, Ashish. Can you repeat or type the text? I mean, in the chat box.
Okay, I'm typing.
Okay, there's some problem of the audio at your end. Maybe whenever you speak now, I just listen in between sentences and I can't infer what are you saying. So kindly, I'm sorry. I mean, for all these, yes, there is some broken voice. So let me see the chat box. Your question, if you're typing something. So till Dr. Ashish, no, text us the query. One of you can read this. Maybe Shruti.
Okay, ma'am. So I'll read, ma'am.
Yes, please. Thank you.
One-way repeated measures ANOVA was conducted to determine whether there were statistically significant differences in systolic blood pressure over the course of 60 minutes after the initiation of the treatment. There was one outlier each in SBP at 15 minutes and 45 minutes, and 5 outliers in the SBP at 60 minutes, as seen by the visual inspection of the box plot. The outliers were kept in the analysis. The data was normally distributed as assessed by the visual inspection of QQ plot. The assumption of sphericity was violated as assessed by the Moseley's test of sphericity. Chi-square was 22.5 and p-value is less than 0.001. Therefore, a greenhouse Grazer correction was applied. That is epsilon equal to 0.935. The treatment elicited statistically significant changes in SBP over time with F value 2.8, freedom 2.8 and 538.5 value equaling 311.3.35 maybe. No?
Yes.
It is written double point.
Yeah, you are right.
P value less than 0.001. The SBP level showed a decreasing trend across 4 different time points. The post-hoc analysis with the Bonferroni adjustment revealed that SBP level was statistically significantly decreased between the pairs of SBP value.
Okay. Yes. So thank you, Shruti. So this is the way we write the interpretation. Maybe here we are finding difference in all the pairs. But there can be a case like we have seen with COVID that, there are 2 different CRP level at like 7 weeks interval, and you will find the difference between a particular pair, not all pair. So this was data that we created. Maybe with the normal data, you may not find the significant value, and then you have to report that if the difference of 15 and 45 minutes is significant, or like in case of COVID, if CRP level, the significantly it starts decreasing after 28 days or maybe after 2 months, then you can say that that was the time point where the effect of treatment was observed very significantly. So this is the way we interpret the repeated measure ANOVA. And repeated measure ANOVA, it is a specific type of study design where generally there is a beauty of this study design that even if there are less sample, because if you want to have the effect of 4 conditions, then you need to take 4 different individual group. But with repeated measure ANOVA, with the less number of subjects, you can do the 4 conditions on the same set of subjects, and then you can see the effect. And you can remove the effect of matching also, because in independent sample t-test you have to take the groups which are very much similar in both the groups. But in case of a repeated measure ANOVA, the group acts as his or her own control. So you remove that variance, means that deviation to a larger extent, But again, if you are testing more than, two treatment, then like we did in the experimental study, there should be a period of washout between the treatment 1 and treatment 2. Like if you are doing it one by one. So that should be there. Otherwise, there will be a carryover effect of first treatment over the second intervention. So this is one of the very much, desired study design, especially if the resources are limited and if you don't want to recruit 4 different set of people, then you can definitely go for such type of study design. But yes, and especially in things like if something if you have pain, like in case of a anesthesia, people also do a lot of study with this repeated measure, because you measure the pain score. You are seeing the anesthetic effect of, or the analgesic effect of any anesthetic drug. Then you measure the pain score at many point of time, and then you can see like after which point of time there was a drastically reduction in the pain and the patient was pain free. Similarly, in orthopedic setting also, like here, in our orthopedic department here at AIIMS Patna, many people have conducted this repeated measure ANOVA design, where they did knee replacement surgery, and they want to test that after which time the patient is ambulatory. So they measured that score at 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and then at 12 months. And then they saw that the most importantly, it was after 6 months that the patient was pain free, because there was no difference between 6 and 12 months. So yes, Ritu is writing how to say that BP statistically decreased between pair of SBP value, because you can see that if you see the post hoc, Ritu, then you can see that all the pairs are showing the statistically. You can see pair 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, all are significant, all the pair-wise comparison. So you can see, first thing you can say that there was a difference. Second, you can see the mean BP. You can see that the mean BP at the first one is 154, then it was 148, then 142 and 132. And the value was significant. If you see the value of ANOVA, repeated measure ANOVA, this significant. This tells you, no, just a sec. Not this one, yes. This is the test of within subject. So this value, this is the significance value, which tells you that whether that this significant value tells you, Ritu, that the pair-wise comparison, the trend which you are seeing that it is increasing, this is significant. All tests in which we want p-value more than 0.05. Yes, so till now we have read there are many. So till now we have got 3 tests: Shapiro-Wilk test, Levine test of equality of variance, and Moschle's test of sphericity. These are the 3 tests in that basic course which you have learned, where you don't want p-value to be more than 0.0. You want p-value, you don't want p-value to be less than 0.05. So remember, it is 3. Till now it is 3. Levine test of equality of variance, Shapiro-Wilk test, and Moschle's test of sphericity, for which you want p-value to be more than 0.05. Right. So here you will see 2 significant. This is the overall value of this. This tells you about the significant value of the individual value at 4 different time point. And if you come to the post hoc pair-wise comparison, then this tells you about the pair-wise comparison. Okay. So if any query from any other participant in repeated measure ANOVA?
Ma'am, if suppose a Moschle's test of sphericity comes significant, then what should we do?
So significant, it is significant only, Ashish. If you see the value here.
Yes, ma'am. Still we can use repeated measures of ANOVA, ma'am.
Yes, repeated measure on ANOVA will be used, but you will report this greenhouse gazer.
Okay.
Can you see this?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
There are.
This is also coming significant.
Yes, this is also coming significant, but the p-value is different for every.
Okay. Okay.
You can see the p-value. You can double click this, right? and just keep your cursor over that significant. You can see it is 4.3 and then
Ma'am, if
minus-
sphericity 1 came non-significant, then we would have reported a sphericity assumed.
assumed. Yes.
Thank you.
Then you would take this value, these two, to report your result. This one, if it was more than 0.05, and this one to report. But since it is not there, I mean that sphericity is not assumed. That's why we have taken the greenhouse gaser. Did you get, Ashish?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
In general, there is there is one rule. In general, you will never get a sphericity assumed. In experimental study or in repeated measure also, usually. Why? Because there will always be a difference. Like if you're doing something, you expect it to go down. The sphericity is met only like if you take weight of an adult where we are not doing anything. Like if you take my weight and if I'm not exercising, neither I'm eating extra, then my weight if you take my weight for 5 years, every year at fixed point of time, it will not show any change. In that case, the sphericity will be assumed because then you will not find any variance, any deviations from the this thing. So that's the concept. Maybe if you have understood, that is okay. Even if you have not understood, that is also okay. For that, you need to know that in most of the cases, you will not found this sphericity to be assumed. Like it's a little reverse case as compared to the homogeneity of variance. There also, in homogeneity of variance, if the sample size is large, most of the time you will find that is met. But here you will find that sphericity is not, usually it will not be met. Any confusion from any other participant or any query? No, Aliza is writing no. Then